As he swam, he remembered his injuries and bit his lip. The shoal suddenly surged towards the surface, and the mackerel roused himself from his grumbling. He must stay alert or he might miss out. The fish immediately ahead of him lunged at a wisp of silver, but missed. This was his chance. Thrashing his tail, he powered forward with his mouth open wide. There, he had it. But there was more to this sparkle, and another hook ripped into his cheek. His eyes opened wide in horror as the shoal turned away, leaving him separated and unable to follow. The hook was pulling him towards the rocks. He knew that the only escape was to fight and snap the line as he had done before. At first, all he felt was naked fear, lonely fear, isolation. He fought and powered this way and that. The line held firm, tautly drawing him in a way he didn't want to go. And as he fought, his fear turned to frustration, anger that he was losing control. As he passed near the surface for the first time, he caught sight of the fisherman on the rocks, reeling steadily. "Leave me alone," he thought. "I don't want to face you. What do you want with me anyway?" The mackerel gulped his last mouthful of water and held his breath. He was now helpless. He landed on the rocks but barely touched them. His whole body was vibrating. Why couldn't he get control back? He was so angry. Then the hand of the fisherman grasped him firmly around the ribs, and his rage was suspended. What would happen next? Was there now mackerel on the menu? "Don't be afraid, I'm not going to eat you," said the fisherman kindly, as he twisted the hook from the mackerel's cheek. The blood streamed across the mackerel's eye and down his side, but he was just relieved that this was not the end for him. The fisherman gently wiped the blood away with the back of his fingers. "You've been in the wars, haven't you?" he observed. The fisherman pulled one of the lampreys out straight to get a better look, and for the first time the mackerel could see one of these creatures for himself. He was horrified. He knew exactly what they were. He had seen them on other fish, sick fish, pitiful fish. But how had this repulsive creature come to feed on him? "You are such a beautiful fish," continued the fisherman. "You should let go of these ugly bloodsuckers." Let go? But it was the lampreys that were holding on to him. How could he let go? The fisherman looked deep into the mackerel's eye and seemed to know his thoughts again. "You're angry and bitter over many things," he said. "You hold to hurts from long ago and carry them with you as a purse full of grudges." This had a ring of truth to the mackerel. Who will buy your grudges from you? Who can pay enough for you to give them up? Who is willing? The mackerel pondered these questions. It was true. He was waiting on payment from those who had hurt or offended him. He felt that the other fish owed him an apology, but they hadn't even noticed he'd been hurt. He had felt that they should do something to make things up to him, but he couldn't imagine what that could be or how much would be enough. Why should he forgive them? It was they who had hurt him. "But who is carrying the burden?" asked the fisherman, holding up the lamprey again. "No one can get this off but you. I can take your hooks out and I can show you how, but only you can let go." And in that moment the mackerel wanted to know. He wanted to understand. He wanted to be free. "You must forgive," said the fisherman earnestly. "You see the others as responsible and think it's their place to dress your wound, but you're wrong. You have handed over control of your injury to them in your mind, but truly they cannot do it for you. Only you can. Take back control and choose to forgive. Forgive them for your own sake. Why let yesterday cast a shadow over today?" The mackerel struggled, but this time inside. Everything in him wanted to withhold forgiveness, but the fisherman offered him freedom from the burden of the blood-sucking lampreys. "I forgive you," spoke the mackerel, in his mind, but not to himself. He was remembering each of the other fish and the times of his injuries. He consciously released each one of them from debt. As he did, the warmth from the fisherman's hand radiated through his ribs and into his whole being. He relaxed into the fisherman's grip. For the first time that he could remember, the tension eased in his muscular body. As his muscles let go, the lampreys slipped one by one from his skin, their barbed mouths now having nothing to cling to, and the mackerel bled again. "Don't fear the bleeding," spoke the fisherman. "It's meant to happen when you hurt. Bleed, but don't stay angry. Don't give the lampreys opportunity." The fisherman covered the mackerel's wounds with his other hand. When he took it away again, it was blooded and wounded itself. But the blood of the mackerel's wounds had congealed and started to scab over. Blood comes with injury, but the scab covers the wound. Pain remembers for a while, but healing works under the protection of the scab. Forgiveness is the scab. It's not pretty, it's not what you would choose, but it's the way to wholeness. And the fisherman finished by saying, "You're ready to go back now." And he slipped the mackerel gently back into the water. The mackerel felt clean and energized. The water had never seemed this clear, this fresh, and he breathed it deeply. There was still a dull aching from his wounds, but somehow this seemed less important now. He caught sight of the shoal and joyfully turned to join them. Yes, joyfully. The whole world looked different now. As he swam, he looked at the other fish with new eyes. He saw how laboured their swimming was, and how each one carried lampreys that trailed, silent and pale, from their sides. And he was suddenly filled with pity for them. How different would life be for the whole shoal if they only knew what he now knew. Moved by compassion, he drew in close to the fish next to him. He wanted to connect with her and show her how to change, as he had. He swam close enough to brush her flank in a gesture of care. He wanted her to know that he understood her pain. But the touch nudged one of her own lampreys. It fattened up and tightened its grip. Its head glowed red as it gulped down her blood. This injured fish burned with fury at the mackerel. She lashed angrily with her tail, which caught the mackerel full in his ribs. He winced with pain as his wound let out a puff of crimson blood. How could this fish do such a thing when he had only offered kindness? She had rejected him. It touched his very dignity, and indeed he felt indignant. But as his own anger began to rise, he remembered the fisherman's words. Bleed, but don't stay angry. And although it was counter to his feelings, he forgave the fish in his heart and let the debt go. Immediately his wound stopped bleeding and scabbed over. No lampreys followed him. The mackerel was delighted to have kept his joy. I know the secret of happiness, he thought to himself. I need never live with injury again.